Hello, I'm attempting to hide from the wind, but I don't know how well it's working. I never know how well it's working until I'm in edit. But to stop me talking about the weather for this whole video, which I could do probably, I've got this, which is wet finished. So we'll stop talking about the weather and we'll start talking about this, which is wet finished. Now I think there's been some shrinkage on this one because the colours are more vibrant, which I think has happened because the cotton has pulled in. It feels narrower, but I can't be sure because I didn't measure it, because I always forget to do that. But I'm really, really pleased with it, and I'm really pleased with how these colours are sitting. I particularly like bits like this. Let me point at that properly. This sort of black and red bit where the colour changes are slightly out of step. I think that's worked well. That's happened all the way through because my length of warp didn't match the colour changes, if that makes sense. So that gives me that kind of out of step effect. And I really like the cotton slub thick and thin effect in there as well. So that has come out really well. I'm pleased with that. It was worth the forever that it was on the loom. It wasn't forever, it was 2 weeks, because someone's going to say it. But it felt like forever. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. I think it's come out well. I love the way it looks. So well done. Well done, me. Somebody's got to say it, if you don't big yourself up. Now, last week on the loom I had the green scarf that was in progress. Now, this is not only, I want you to be sitting down for this, this is not only off the loom, it is also wet finished, and I've pressed it. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes the stars align and everything works. So this is the side that you saw last week, which had the weft floats, which are in these bits. Now those very obvious 2-bar weft floats, we've got 3 on each side, have in the wet finish sort of shrunk together a little bit, which is, instead of giving me a little weft float there, well it does because you can still see them if you squint, it gives me that pulled in sort of texture window to show the warp a little bit there. And then on the other side that gives you, oops, this sort of stripe effect, this bar stripe effect. Now it probably would have been better if I'd planned it and then had this sort of shiny olive green down both sides, but I didn't plan it, so it is what it is. It's got a beautiful drape though. I'm really pleased with the drape. So I'll show you the length. This is one of those projects that when it's on the loom, you just really enjoy weaving it. Everything felt good. All of the yarns worked nicely together. It felt good to weave. It was a nice, it's so soft as well. It was a nice weave to do. So I'm pleased with it. I really, really like how these greens have worked together. I wasn't sure about the olivey one. It's not in the light very well, but trust me, it's a little bit olivey. If I go over it into the sunlight, no, I'm in slightly the wrong spot. I wasn't sure that that was going to work with the dark green, but I think it has. And it's also sort of an olivey, oh, it's completely out of shot. There we go. It's also sort of an olivey goldy effect. So this has come out really well. This is going to be delivered to somebody. It's part of an order. So I'm glad I've got it finished in a timely manner, which doesn't often happen. These things don't often happen. So I'll just show you that again. The drape is astonishing. So that's, this darker green here is an acrylic wool blend, and this is actually tencel. So I wasn't sure how that was going to work, and it has worked well, and it's given me a nice drape. So I do have both looms in play at the moment. As I mentioned last week, I've got quite a big order on, and both looms are blue. So I'm going to show you the big loom, which is not with me because it's big. It's hard to get through the door. So I will show you the big loom, and then I will show you the little loom, which I have out with me now. Not utilising the full width of my loom again. I don't know why I paid for all this extra space. So my loom here is 60 centimetres, and this is not, because that's, my hand is not 60 centimetres. The next project on this loom will be a wrap, which will be wider. But for the time being, I've got this, which is lovely. I didn't mean to be dismissive of this poor little scarf just sitting there being dismissed. So this is a basic plain weave scarf with 2 shades of blue in the warp. You've got the dark and the light there. The yarn is Heirloom Merino Magic 8-ply, which makes a nice warm scarf, which is lovely, because this one's going to the UK eventually. I do have, it is a plain weave, I'm not doing any pick-up sticks or anything like that with it. I do have some colour detailing with this light blue at the beginning, which I've already wound onto the front beam, but I cunningly remembered to take a photograph. So here's how it looked. And I've made a note of the pattern there that I've used. It's not really a pattern, it's just a number of rows that I've done, but that counts as a pattern, I suppose. Anyway, I've written them all down. So if, on the off chance I remember to do it at the other end, and I might, it will be a matching pattern at each end. If I forget to do it at the other end, and I might, it will be a deliberately asymmetrical design element. That's how that works. So that's basically, well, it's exactly what's on the loom, never mind basically. And that should hopefully be off the loom quite soon. I will point out that this is my background fabric. I'm running out of background fabrics because I keep making clothes out of them, and I do have this fabric earmarked for a pair of summer trousers. So I don't know that this will ever feature again, but it does take me a while to get around to sewing anything, so it might become a bit of a feature for a while. Don't get too attached, but I wanted to just give it a little moment to shine in case we never see it again on this channel. The sun's moved, pretend you didn't notice. So this is on the little loom, as you can tell, because that's my little loom, and it looks much like a project I did a couple of months ago, because it is essentially a project I did a couple of months ago. This is Patterns Sierra Chunky in this blue colourway. The warp is Bendigo Woolen Mills Classic 8-ply in one of the blues. I feel like it's cornflower, I feel like that might also be wrong. It's definitely one of the blues though. So I'll show you that little close up. It's just a plain weave. I'll get that out of the way. My head's rebelling. You sit. No. Thank you. Get that out of the way so we can see the weave. There we go. So it's just a plain weave with just this chunky yarn. It's being a nice quick weave. And as you can see, I've got my 60 centimetre shuttle, which is overkill, really. I mean, if you look at that, it's overkill. It's much wider than the loom. It's much wider than the scarf. The reason I'm using my 60 centimetre shuttle for this is because this is a chunky yarn. You can see it's quite thick, and it fills a small shuttle very quickly, and then you have to reload your shuttle. You have to reload your shuttle a lot, which slows you down. And in this case, because I'm having to match the colour, I'm going to explain this so badly, even I'm not going to know what I'm talking about. So this is a colour changing yarn. Or it's not colour changing, it's variegated. It shifts through it, the blue palette. So when I do change my shuttle, I'm just going to get my arm under there a little bit more securely and maybe hold that there. So when I do have to reload the shuttle, I want to match whatever colour I've ended with so that I start with that same section of yarn so that it all blends in. And to do that, you need to unroll the yarn a little bit, because the first yarn that you put on your shuttle is going to be the last yarn off your shuttle. So if you want to match a colour here, it's making sense in my head, I don't know how you're feeling, then you need to wind a little ball so that when you load your shuttle, you're putting that colour last, so that it's at the end of the shuttle and it all blends in. I don't know if that made sense. It made sense in my head. So that is pretty much it. I do have a tiny bit of progress on the crochet, but it's not worth bringing out to show you. I think I've done maybe one more round around it. It wouldn't look much different to how it did last week. So if you're curious, just go back and watch last week's video again. I think it looks much the same. I am getting to the fancy stuff. I think I've got another round to do of the shell. They're not shells, Spanish fans, somebody said, the cluster stitches, and then I can move on to the fancy stuff. So hopefully next week I will have something to show you with that. Hopefully. We'll see how I get on. I've got a lot of weaving to do. I've got a yarn delivery today, which is very exciting. And it's 2 different kinds of rainbow yarn for the big order that I'm doing, which is very exciting. I don't mind weaving with blue. I don't normally have this much blue on my looms. I don't have blue at both at the same time. Oh, did you see my brain switch off just then? I'm going to go and have a cuppa. You have a lovely rest of your week and a lovely start of next week. Why not? Treat yourself. I will see you next time. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.